Hello, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, and welcome. It's Nurse Richard, the Wax Wizard. Thanks for joining me. Bit of a long one this, so I think you're going to enjoy it. It was two very full ears. I mean they were really full as full can be, front to back, top to bottom, head to tail, etc. This chap came to see me last week, and he could barely hear anything at all in both ears, and I don't think he'd ever had this done before. So he just assumed that he was losing his hearing. Thankfully, he was relieved to know that that wasn't the case, because getting this done is cheaper than having hearing aids. Have a look at this first piece that comes out though, a bit like the ribbon that we did the other day. Look at this. It's just as good, isn't it? It's an absolute crackerjack, that one. It's a beauty. No, he still couldn't hear after taking that out. You'll see why. And that's hence the title of this video, a Tardis Ear Wax. Now, what's a Tardis? Now, a lot of those who are watching in the UK, you'll already know what one is. Whoever doesn't know one in the UK, I don't know, you've been hiding under a rock or something. But a Tardis comes from, there's a sci-fi show in the UK. It's been going since the 60s, I think. Must be one of the longest shows, series going ever. And it was called Doctor Who. About a Time Lord who jumped from time and space and dimension. I wasn't particularly a fan, more of a Star Wars fan me. But he had this thing called a TARDIS, and it was a police box. Imagine a red telephone box. Everyone knows what the old British red telephone boxes look like. Now, it was like that, but it's blue. And the purpose of this, it was a police box. I'll get onto that in a minute. I'll explain what those were. But he had this box that he went into, and the whole premise of it was that it was much bigger on the inside than it appeared from the outside. And that's kind of what I felt as soon as I started removing this from his ear, because it just kept coming. And I'm thinking, how have you fitted all that in there? Where's it come from? I said, you've got a bit of a TARDIS for an ear. It's a common saying that we use in the UK. Say for example, if you see someone's house, and it might just be a little front door, a couple of little windows on the front. Happens a lot with old Victorian terraced houses, this. And you think, well, it looks like a normal sized house, and then you go inside it, and you're like, flipping out, I didn't realise it was this big. Because a lot of the old Victorian houses are really, really long. I used to live in one. So hence the name Tardis Earwax. More than you think there is on the inside from the outside. Is the long and short of it. And so yeah, the old police boxes as they were, go and Google it, go and see what they look like, if you don't already know anyway. There used to be these boxes, like I said, like a blue-red phone box, that you could, this was before the days of walkie-talkies, mobile phones, etc. And it used to be a box that you could ring the police from, had a phone attached to it, but it was like a miniature police station. So this was back in the days of when we had the old bobbies on the beat with the old truncheon and the hat shaped like that. I can't remember what it was called. And what happened is this light used to go on the top of the police box. It used to start flashing blue, and that's when the local bobby on the beat would see it and they think, all right, I've got to get in touch with the station. Something's happening. And I think they used to use these boxes to detain people. I think they had fire kits in there, first aid kits, and used to be able to do a bit of it's like a mobile office. For the local bobbies. Anyway, I bored you with that, so I'll start talking about this here, shall I? Although, like I've said on many occasions before, there's only so much you can say about it, which is why lots of channels out there. When I was first deciding how to present my channel and procedures, I decided to look at what was already out there and thought, let's try and do something a bit different, because there's lots of this type of stuff out there. Even more now, which I'll get into in a minute. But I want it to be slightly different, because there's lots of channels out there that you can go to if you want a bit more in-depth medical knowledge. I'll always give you a little bit of that, but I don't know, overdo it with that, because there's plenty of channels who can do it much better than me. So that's why I decided to make this channel a bit more about watching the procedure, having a bit of a chat, tell a few stories, learn a few things. And so that's why I don't always just talk about what's going on in the ear. That's for if you're just watching my channel for the first time. welcome. Where have you been? I've been here ages. But those of you who've been watching me for a long time will already know I just kind of drift off on tangents sometimes and talk about anything that's not related to what you're watching. It's just to stop us all getting bored, to be honest. But yeah, if you are watching this and I'm the only channel like this that you watch, then you should really go and check out all the others. You might prefer one of them to mine, who knows? But which would be fine. It's a free country, everybody can choose what they want. But I'll give them all a shout out because there will be a lot of people watching who don't know about all the other channels. So I'll let you know certainly some of my favourite ones. I suppose the main ones is obviously Neil. You can find him if you search for the Wax Whisperer. And then you've got Reese and Taylor at Audiology Associates. And you've also got Connor at Durham Hearing Specialists. They're probably the three most popular ones. I've got a way to go to catch up to them, but if you can't get enough of this content, I mean literally can't get enough, then go and check those guys out as well. I know they would appreciate it. There's also a few others that are really nice and up and coming. You've got my good old friend Lisa, who's also a nurse at Suffolk Ear Care. That's Suffolk. Ear Care. You've got Adam at Alto Hearing, that's ALTO Hearing. And then you've got the lovely Rabina at Veritas Hearing, that's VERITASS Hearing. Wonderful voice, could absolutely listen to that lady for days. She's got such a beautiful, soothing voice. So go and check those out and go and support all those other guys. I know they would probably appreciate it. And like I said, they're all very different. And that's kind of why I got onto that. I just wanted to let you know that why I do mine the way I do mine, because I didn't want to have it too similar to anybody else's. Because there's enough out there, so let's all try and be a little bit different from one another, whilst you're still watching earwax being removed. Very dry, this second one. It was a bit more difficult than the first one. I mean, they were both difficult, don't get me wrong, but this was a lot drier. Speaking of those other channels, I was fuming last night, absolutely fuming, and I'll tell you why. Because in the same night, now this will be released about a week after it actually happened, but in the same night, unless you remember, you'll get to see it today, I saw Lisa from Suffolk Ear Care had a dead moth in someone's ear, and I believe Neil also had a dead beetle as well. I was absolutely fuming. I thought, oh, it must be my turn next, surely. I don't think Reese has had one either. I think he's quite looking forward to getting one. I think Connor might have had one in the past as well. I've seen him doing is it a dead fly's wing or something. But it's one of the most common questions I get, and I'm sure all the others do as well. From we get lots of comments saying, have you ever removed any bugs from anybody's ears? No, I haven't. I haven't had any. I've had lots that have thought they've got bugs in there, and I've got proper excited, got all giddy, and they've come in and there was nothing there. It may have just flown in and then flown out again. But because sometimes when these things fly in, if you've got no wax in there to trap it, they'll often just fly straight out again, because that's one of wax's job, is to protect it from things flying into your ear. And if things do fly into your ear or crawl into it, the wax is supposed to protect you, and it kind of gets stuck in it, so to speak. But no, never found one. Gutted. But yeah, of all the insects, I really wouldn't mind. I'm not squeamish in the slightest. Different than my daughter, she can't even see a spider, a dead long-legged ant before I can hear screaming all over the house, absolutely terrified. But they don't bother me in the slightest. I'm always going around the house with the old-fashioned way of getting these things. A cup, a see-through cup, and then a bit of paper or a bit of cardboard. Slide under it, trap it, slide under it. I did used to have a proper catcher that did something very similar. I lost it. I can't remember where it went. But it was really useful. It was like on a handle, and then you had like a plastic case on the end of it, and it had like a door on it as well. I think it was like made of like a brush type material. So you put this thing against the wall, trap it in there, and then you'd shut this thing, but because it was like bristles, it wouldn't allow it to, the thing in there to escape. It would just like close underneath it and push it into this thing. Then you really take it outside, release the trigger, open it up, and off it's gone. Wish I could find it. Now, as you can probably see, I've had a right battle with this last piece here, just because there was so many hairs entangled in it. I didn't think there was that much of a problem in this one. How, I don't know why, because there was just as much in this as there was in the other one. But because there's so many matted hairs tangled in it, it makes it a bit more difficult to get a grip of. But eventually, not very wide entrances or exits, depending which way you're going, to this gentleman's ear either, which you don't appreciate when you see in the visuals inside the ear. Well, there you go. Looks like a little hedgehog, doesn't it, or a porcupine? Anyway, and there it is, nice and clear, very dry. It's a real shot. I finally got a real shot. I do apologise. I always forget. It's the nurse in me, just wants to clean everything away. But yeah, it's a good one. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. But for now, take care of yourself, and I'll see you soon. Ta-da.